Imagine walking through a garden filled with beautiful flowers, and then suddenly stepping on a patch of thorns that tears through your skin. In life, toxic people are those thorns. They lurk in the most unsuspecting places, sometimes in our families, among our friends, or even within ourselves. The ancient Stoics, warriors of the mind and masters of inner peace, warned us of these hidden battles. They knew that toxic people can poison our spirits, drain our energy, and even derail us from our life's purpose. But the Stoics didn't just warn us. They armed us with the wisdom to navigate these treacherous waters. Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, Epictetus. They all encountered their share of toxic people. They were emperors, slaves, and advisors, constantly surrounded by power plays, deception, and manipulation. Yet they thrived, not because they avoided these people, but because they learned how to outsmart them. They developed strategies that allowed them to remain unshaken, unbroken, and unbeaten by the toxicity around them. This video is not just about identifying toxic people. It's about diving deep into the wisdom of the ancient Stoics and other great minds to learn the 10 lessons that will teach you how to be smart when dealing with toxic people. These are not just survival tips. They are strategies to turn the tide in your favor, to rise above the noise, and to reclaim your peace of mind. Stay with me until the end, and you'll have the tools to outthink, outmaneuver, and outlast any toxic influence in your life. Lesson 1. The power of detachment. The more we value things outside our control, the less control we have. Epictetus. The first lesson is one that cuts to the core of Stoic philosophy. Detachment. It's a skill that seems counterintuitive at first because society tells us that caring deeply is synonymous with loving deeply. But in the realm of toxic relationships, the opposite is often true. Detachment does not mean indifference. It means freedom. It means understanding that you are not responsible for someone else's emotions, behaviors, or life choices. Toxic people often thrive on drama. They seek validation through conflict and manipulate those around them to feel in control. You may have encountered someone who always plays the victim, constantly seeks attention, or twists reality to suit their narrative. When you engage emotionally, you are feeding their needs, becoming a pawn in their game. This is why detachment is not just a strategy, it's armor. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, constantly dealt with political schemers and opportunists. He wrote extensively in his private journals about maintaining a sense of detachment from the opinions and actions of others. To him, detachment was about understanding that what others do is outside of his control, and therefore not worth the investment of his emotional energy. He often wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Detachment is not about building walls. It's about setting boundaries. It's about understanding that your peace of mind is not up for negotiation. It's about stepping back from the emotional chess game that toxic people play and recognizing that the only moves you control are your own. To master detachment, start by observing your own reactions. Do you feel anger, frustration, or sadness when a toxic person acts out? Acknowledge these feelings, but don't let them dictate your actions. This is where your power lies. In the space between what happens and how you respond. You are the gatekeeper of your own mind. Lesson 2. Silence as a weapon. We have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so that we can listen twice as much as we speak. Epictetus. Silence is an underappreciated weapon in dealing with toxic people. Toxic individuals often feed on reactions. They thrive on drama, conflict, and the chaos they can create in others. But what happens when you refuse to play their game? When you deny them the reaction they crave? Silence, my friend, becomes your most powerful tool. The Stoics understood that silence is not just the absence of sound, but the presence of strength. It's a conscious decision to withhold your energy, to conserve your power, and to deny your opponent what they seek most: control over your emotions. Toxic people are like fire. They need fuel to keep burning. Silence starves them of that fuel. When Epictetus said, "If someone criticizes you, let your first reaction be to investigate yourself, but do not let it disturb you," he wasn't advocating for passivity. He was advocating for strategic silence. Toxic people often use words as weapons, sharp, cutting, and designed to provoke a response. But when you respond with silence, you deny them the satisfaction of knowing they've affected you. This is not about bottling up your emotions. It's about redirecting your energy into something more constructive. Think about the last time a toxic person tried to bait you into a conflict. Did you feel the urge to defend yourself, to argue, or to explain? That's their trap. Toxic people are experts in using words to manipulate and control. By responding with silence, you signal that their words hold no power over you. You refuse to validate their narrative, and in doing so, you maintain control over your own story. This isn't about ignoring problems or letting people walk all over you. It's about choosing your battles wisely. Silence doesn't mean surrender. It means strategy. It's about knowing when to speak and when to hold your tongue. When used wisely, silence can be louder than any argument. Lesson 3. Mastering emotional independence. No man is free who is not master of himself. Epictetus. Emotional independence is the fortress you build to protect yourself from the toxic energies around you. It's the realization that your happiness, peace, and self-worth do not depend on the validation or approval of others. Toxic people often wield control by making you question your own value, by creating a sense of dependency that keeps you tethered to their moods and whims. But what if you could break that chain? What if you could stand so firm in your own sense of self that no toxic influence could shake you? The Stoics were masters of this art. They understood that to live a fulfilled life, one must cultivate an inner sanctuary that is untouchable by external forces. Marcus Aurelius often reflected on the importance of self-sufficiency, writing, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." For the Stoics, emotional independence was not just a goal. It was a daily practice, a commitment to nurturing the inner world despite the chaos of the outer world. To cultivate emotional independence, you must first recognize your triggers. Toxic people are experts at finding and exploiting these vulnerabilities. They know how to push your buttons, how to make you feel small, insecure, or unworthy. The first step in dismantling their power is to identify these triggers and understand why they affect you. Is it fear of rejection? A need for validation? Once you understand the root, you can begin to reclaim your power. Meditation, self-reflection, and journaling are powerful tools for this process. Spend time each day examining your thoughts, your reactions, and your emotional responses. When you feel the pull of someone else's toxicity, pause and ask yourself, why does this bother me? What is it within me that feels threatened? This introspection is not about self-criticism. It's about self-discovery. Emotional independence also involves setting boundaries, not just with others, but with yourself. It's about deciding where your focus will go, who gets your energy, and what battles are worth fighting. Remember, every time you react to a toxic person, you are giving them a piece of your power. Choose wisely. Lesson 4. Understanding the art of non-reaction. It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Epictetus. Toxic people thrive on chaos, and they often use it to manipulate, control, and dominate others. But here's the secret the Stoics knew. The true power lies not in the chaos itself, but in your response, or lack thereof. The art of non-reaction is about reclaiming your power by refusing to be dragged into the emotional storm that toxic people create. Non-reaction is not the same as passivity. It's an active, deliberate choice to maintain your composure, your calm, and your clarity in the face of provocation. Think of a toxic person as a storm, raging and unpredictable. Your job is not to stop the storm. That's impossible. Your job is to be the mountain that remains unmoved by the wind and the rain. Marcus Aurelius often reminded himself of the importance of keeping his emotions in check, writing, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." This powerful Stoic principle teaches us that every obstacle, every toxic person, every provocation is an opportunity to practice control over ourselves. It's about transforming the challenge into a chance to strengthen our inner resolve. Toxic people will test you. They will push your buttons, provoke your anger, and attempt to drag you into their world of conflict. But when you master the art of non-reaction, you become untouchable. You strip away their power by refusing to play their game. This doesn't mean you never speak up or stand your ground. It means you do so on your own terms, not in response to their manipulation. To practice non-reaction, start by observing your initial impulses. When a toxic person provokes you, notice your instinct to react, to argue, to defend, to lash out. Pause. Take a deep breath. Remind yourself that you are not obligated to participate in every conflict that invites you. Your peace is your power, and you alone decide where to spend it. Lesson 5. Setting boundaries without guilt. If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid. Epictetus. Boundaries are the invisible lines that protect your peace, your energy, and your sense of self. They are not walls that shut others out, but rather gates that determine who and what gets to enter your personal space. Toxic people often have no respect for boundaries. They invade, manipulate, and exploit the kindness of others. But here's the hard truth. Toxic people only cross boundaries that you have not clearly defined or enforced. The Stoics understood the importance of setting boundaries not just with others, but with oneself. Seneca, the Roman statesman and Stoic philosopher, often spoke about the importance of managing one's time and energy wisely. People are frugal in guarding their personal property, but as soon as it comes to squandering time, they are most wasteful of the one thing in which it is right to be stingy. For Seneca, boundaries were not just about protecting oneself from others, but also about managing one's own impulses, distractions, and habits. Setting boundaries is an act of self-respect. It's a statement that says, "I value my peace, my time, and my well-being enough to protect them." But toxic people will often challenge these boundaries. They will test, push, and sometimes even guilt-trip you into lowering your guard. This is where the wisdom of the Stoics becomes invaluable. They teach us that the opinions of others, especially those who are toxic, are not our concern. Boundaries are not just about saying no to others. They are about saying yes to yourself. They are about prioritizing your own mental and emotional health above the need to please, accommodate, or appease others. You are not responsible for managing other people's feelings or fixing their problems. Your responsibility is to maintain your own peace, and that requires boundaries. When setting boundaries, be clear, be firm, and be unapologetic. You do not owe anyone an explanation for why you need space, time, or distance. Remember, toxic people thrive on guilt and manipulation. They will make you feel selfish for protecting yourself. But as Epictetus reminds us, if you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid. Let others think what they will. Your duty is to your own well-being. Lesson 6. The value of selective association. Associate with people who are likely to improve you. Seneca. One of the most profound lessons the Stoics teach us is the importance of who we allow into our inner circle. Toxic people are like poison to the soul. They slowly erode your confidence, your joy, and your sense of self. Seneca warned us of this when he said, Associate with people who are likely to improve you. The people you surround yourself with have a direct impact on your thoughts, your habits, and your life's trajectory. Selective association is about curating your social environment with the same care and attention you would give to your physical environment. You wouldn't willingly allow garbage into your home, so why would you allow it into your mind? Toxic people bring negativity, drama, and dysfunction. They drain your energy and distract you from your purpose. But unlike garbage, they are not always easy to spot. They often disguise themselves as friends, mentors, or even loved ones. To be smart with toxic people, you must become a gatekeeper of your own life. This means being discerning about who you let in, who you keep close, and who you distance yourself from. It's not about being judgmental or cruel. It's about being protective of your own mental and emotional health. The Stoics were not afraid to cut ties with those who did not align with their values. They understood that it's better to be alone than in bad company. Selective association is also about seeking out those who uplift, inspire, and challenge you to be better. It's about surrounding yourself with people who reflect the qualities you admire: integrity, kindness, wisdom, and resilience. When you choose your associations wisely, you create a support system that not only protects you from toxicity, but also propels you forward on your path. Remember, you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Choose wisely, and do not be afraid to distance yourself from those who bring more harm than good. Your inner circle is your sanctuary. Guard it fiercely. Lesson 7. Practicing compassion without sacrificing yourself. Be tolerant with others and strict with yourself. Marcus Aurelius. Compassion is a double-edged sword. On one hand, it's a beautiful quality that reflects our humanity. On the other hand, when directed toward toxic individuals, it can become a weakness that they exploit. Toxic people often prey on compassionate souls. They see kindness as an opportunity for manipulation, a soft spot to be used to their advantage. But the Stoics teach us that true compassion must be balanced with wisdom. Marcus Aurelius, known for his deep sense of empathy, often wrote about the importance of understanding human nature. He believed in showing tolerance toward others, recognizing that everyone is fighting their own battle. However, he also understood that compassion does not mean sacrificing oneself on the altar of another's dysfunction. Be tolerant with others and strict with yourself encapsulates the Stoic approach to compassion. It's about maintaining your empathy without compromising your boundaries or self-respect. Compassion for toxic people should never come at the cost of your own well-being. This does not mean abandoning empathy. It means exercising discernment. Recognize that toxic behavior often stems from unresolved pain, insecurity, or fear. Understanding this can help you maintain a sense of calm and prevent you from taking their actions personally. However, this understanding does not obligate you to endure their toxicity. Practicing compassionate detachment means acknowledging the humanity in others while also protecting your own. It's about offering kindness without becoming a doormat, and extending empathy without becoming entangled in another's dysfunction. You can wish someone well, but also wish them well from a distance. When dealing with toxic people, let your compassion be guided by wisdom. Know when to extend a hand, and know when to pull back. Remember that you cannot save someone who does not want to be saved, and you cannot pour from an empty cup. Your first duty is to yourself, to maintain your peace, and to guard your energy. Compassion, when balanced with self-care, becomes a source of strength rather than a vulnerability. Lesson 8. The importance of self-reflection and accountability. First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. Epictetus. One of the most overlooked aspects of dealing with toxic people is the role of self-reflection. It's easy to point fingers and place blame, but the Stoics teach us that every interaction is a two-way street. Toxic people can only affect us to the extent that we allow them to. This is not about blaming yourself for their actions, but about taking responsibility for your reactions. Self-reflection is the cornerstone of Stoic practice. It's the act of looking inward, examining your own thoughts, behaviors, and patterns, and asking the hard questions. Why does this person trigger me? What unhealed part of me is responding to their toxicity? What boundaries have I failed to set? The Stoics believed that understanding oneself was the key to understanding the world. Epictetus famously said, "First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do." Accountability is the flip side of self-reflection. It's not enough to simply recognize your patterns. You must also take responsibility for changing them. If you find yourself repeatedly drawn to toxic people, ask yourself why. Are you seeking validation? Are you trying to fix or save someone else? The Stoics would remind you that your primary responsibility is to your own growth and well-being. Practicing self-reflection does not mean excusing toxic behavior. It means understanding why it affects you and taking proactive steps to protect yourself. It's about recognizing that you have the power to change your narrative, to rewrite your script, and to choose who gets a role in your life. You are not a victim of toxic people. You are an active participant in your own story. By holding yourself accountable, you reclaim your power. You shift from being reactive to proactive, from being controlled to being in control. Toxic people thrive on weakness, but self-reflection and accountability are acts of strength. They are the tools that will help you break free from the cycle of toxicity and build a life that is true to your values. Lesson 9. Letting go of the need to change others. Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. Marcus Aurelius. One of the most common traps when dealing with toxic people is the belief that you can change them. This desire often comes from a place of good intentions, a hope that if you can just show them the right way, they will see the error of their ways and transform. But the Stoics, in their infinite wisdom, teach us that the only person you can change is yourself. Marcus Aurelius, who dealt with countless difficult people during his reign, often wrote about the futility of trying to change others. He understood that each person is on their own journey, driven by their own motivations, fears, and experiences. Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one, he wrote. This powerful reminder is about focusing on your own actions, your own growth, and your own integrity, rather than wasting energy trying to fix someone else. Toxic people are often stuck in their patterns for a reason. They may be resistant to change, deeply entrenched in their own dysfunction, or simply unwilling to see the harm they cause. Your efforts to change them will likely be met with resistance, resentment, or outright rejection. The Stoics would advise you to let go of this burden. Your responsibility is not to change others, but to remain true to yourself. Letting go of the need to change others is an act of liberation. It frees you from the exhausting cycle of hope and disappointment, and it allows you to redirect your energy toward your own growth. This does not mean abandoning compassion. It means recognizing the limits of your influence. You can offer guidance, set an example, and extend kindness, but ultimately, each person is responsible for their own path. The next time you find yourself trying to change a toxic person, pause and reflect. Are you trying to control the uncontrollable? Are you sacrificing your peace in the hope of transforming someone else? Remember the wisdom of Marcus Aurelius. Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. Focus on being the best version of yourself, and let others follow their own journey. Lesson 10. The ultimate power of walking away. The best revenge is not to be like your enemy. Marcus Aurelius. The final and perhaps most powerful lesson is this. Sometimes, the smartest thing you can do is walk away. Walking away is not a sign of weakness or defeat. It's a statement of strength. It's an acknowledgement that your peace, your sanity, and your self-worth are too valuable to be sacrificed on the altar of someone else's toxicity. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The best revenge is not to be like your enemy." Walking away is the ultimate form of this principle. It's about refusing to engage in the games, the drama, and the manipulation. It's about choosing your own well-being over the need to prove a point or win a battle. Toxic people often thrive on conflict, but when you walk away, you deprive them of their power. Walking away is not about running from challenges or avoiding difficult conversations. It's about recognizing when a situation is beyond saving, when your efforts are being met with hostility, and when staying would mean compromising your own values. It's about knowing your worth and refusing to settle for less. The Stoics would remind us that we are the architects of our own lives. We get to choose who we surround ourselves with, how we spend our time, and what we tolerate. Walking away is not an act of giving up. It's an act of reclaiming your power. It's a reminder that you are not trapped. You have the freedom to choose a different path. In the end, the smartest way to deal with toxic people is often the simplest. Leave them behind. Not every battle is worth fighting, and not every person is worth saving. Your peace, your happiness, and your mental health are priceless. Guard them fiercely, and never be afraid to walk away from anyone or anything that threatens them. Conclusion: your power lies within you. Dealing with toxic people is one of life's greatest challenges, but it's also one of its greatest teachers. Each interaction, each encounter, each lesson is an opportunity to grow stronger, wiser, and more resilient. The Stoics knew this well. They faced adversity, betrayal, and conflict at every turn, yet they emerged not as victims, but as victors of their own minds. Remember that your power lies not in controlling others, but in mastering yourself. You are not defined by the toxic people you encounter, but by how you choose to respond to them. Each lesson we've explored, from detachment to walking away, is a tool to help you reclaim your peace, your power, and your purpose. So, the next time you find yourself face to face with a toxic person, remember the wisdom of the Stoics. Remember that you have the power to choose your response, to protect your peace, and to walk away from anything that does not serve your highest good. You are the master of your fate, the captain of your soul, and the keeper of your own peace. Guard it fiercely, and never let anyone take it from you.